Okay. Michelle Evans. Michelle Evans. All right. Is there Michelle Evans on the call? Michelle Evans, if you're on the call.
Yes, I go by my Christian name, and the correct spelling of my Christian name is uppercase M, lowercase I, lowercase c, lowercase e, lowercase L, lowercase L, lowercase e, lowercase v, lowercase a, lowercase n, lowercase s.
Okay. Do you have a formal name change? Have you got a formal name change from like a court?
What was the name? Yes.
Okay. You have an order of court changing your name?
I absolutely do.
Okay. And what's the first name again?
The first name is Michelle, spelled correctly. Uppercase M, lowercase I, lowercase
okay.
c.
But before you do that, what the name is Michelle what? What's the last name?
The family name of Evans.
Michelle Evans.
The family name of Evans.
Minutes.
Okay.
About that, yeah.
Your name is Michelle Evans.
That's the family name of Evans.
Yes, that's not what I'm asking you, ma'am. I'm asking you what your last name is.
I just said it's the family name of Evans. You asked me what's the last name. It's the family name of Evans.
Not what I'm asking you. I mean, this is a yes or no question. Is your last name Evans?
The Christian name is uppercase E, lowercase b.
I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm going to indicate that you're not present because my question is for Michelle Evans. Are you Michelle Evans?
It's Michelle Evans, who's not a U.S. citizen.
All right. Bench warrant for Michelle Evans.
Objection. Michelle Evans is here
Antoine McKenzie.
Objection. Ma'am, you're not giving me a...
Ms. Davis, remove her. Juan McKenzie.
I'm here.
Judge, good morning. Charles Sieber for the state. I do say...
No.
Your Honor, you should be receiving some add-ons. This defendant has 3 separate cases in front of you today.
Okay, I just saw that come through. Hold on.
And I have them.
Okay. There's two add-ons?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm printing.
The add-ons are for simple battery, family violence, and a theft by shoplifting.
All right, I do have that.
So, Your Honor, would you like me to present each case individually? Do you want to just run through the whole gamut at once?
Let's run through them at once, but they are 3 different victims?
Correct.
They are?
3 different victims, 3 different dates.
Right, I see 7/10, 7/19, and 8/29.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Well, we can go in order. I'll call them all, and then let's start with the first one at 7/10. This is Brandon Harris. You have 3 cases. The first one being 23 CR 005461E, which is 1 count of theft by shoplifting on July the 10th of 23. The second case is 23 CR 005463E, theft by shoplifting on July 19th. And then the third case is 23 CR 005462E, and that's one count of simple battery family violence, 8/29/23. If everyone's okay with it, I'd like to go through all at once. I think I can keep them compartmentalized, if you all don't mind.
I think that'd be easiest, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead. Oh, well, pretrial first. Let me do pretrial.
We got 12 total. Last arrest was 4 days ago. Misdemeanor possession of marijuana out of Clayton County. On probation in the cab for burglary, criminal damage to property, 2nd degree. Also for robbery. Driving without a valid license, theft by receiving, obstruction, and fleeing an officer. He got a 2023 petty theft resisting in another state, 2021 parole violation, 2018 burglary.
All right, state.
So, Your Honor, 3 incidents. The first incident, July 10th, that's a shoplifting. Officers responded to a shoplifting. The victim store owner, Mr. Patel, showed the officers security footage of the theft carried out by the defendant and another female. Defendant ran out of the store with 4 liquor bottles, totaling $449 in value. The defendants fled the location in a red 2015 Mazda 6 bearing the Georgia temporary tag, which will become relevant for identification. The second matter, July 19th, officer responded to a shoplifting call, different location, met with the victim store employee, Miss Shin. She stated the defendant entered the store, completed 2 transactions with cash, came up for a 3rd transaction, and when asked why he was splitting up the transactions, he fled that store with 2 liquor bottles valued at $210. The victim showed the officer security footage of the defendant fleeing in a red Mazda 6. I might have said a Mazda. No, I said Mazda 6 both times. So that officer used GCIC to identify the defendant as the primary owner of, or the registered owner of the vehicle, and determined from the defendant's OLN photo that photo matched the person in the security footage. The last instance, Your Honor, is August 29th. In that matter, officers responded to a domestic dispute. They met with the victim, who stated that her live-in boyfriend pulled her out of the house by her head or her hair, telling her it was time for her to leave. The victim and the defendant have been in a relationship and lived together for several years, and the victim was able to identify the defendant by his driver's license photo. I'll also note in that case, Your Honor, relevant to state's concern about reoffense, the domestic violence investigator noted that a 911 call was made from the victim's cell phone a few days prior, and the caller on that 911 call claimed that she was being strangled. When officers arrived, there were at least 3 people in the home. 2 of them were the victim and this defendant. And the officers were able to corroborate some other matters from that 911 call, but in the end, the victim denied being the caller. So an arrest wasn't made. So, Your Honor, there's 2 bonds set. On the July 10th matter, there's a $1,500 surety bond. On the matter on the 19th, there's a $1,000 surety bond. And on the matter just from last month, there's no bond set. The state's requesting that you maintain the 2 bonds that are set and order no further contact and stay away from those employees and those locations. On the third matter, the state's requesting a $2,000 surety bond, no further contact with that victim, and a stay away from that address. And Your Honor, we would just note the high risk of reoffense, both from the defendant's history and from the fact that it's stated that he lives with that victim.
Okay.
I don't believe I have anything further, Your Honor.
All right.
Except that I would like to sound for Miss Utsi. Miss Tamara Utsi is the victim in the third case, who I believe is raising her hand under a different name.
Okay, Tamara, you see, okay. Avriana McBurrows, is that who that is?
Yes.
Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I'm sorry.
All right, tell me your name.
Tamara Uzi.
Okay. And do you wish to address the court today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, raise your right hand so I can swear you in. Do you affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under the penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, although your case is the third one, but I will hear your testimony first. Put your hand down. Are you in fear of Mr. Harris?
No, I am not. At the time, we just got in a really heated argument and I wanted him to leave. So I lied to the authorities and I told them that he hit me when he didn't because I wanted him to leave my house at the time.
All right. Do you want to have contact with him?
Yes.
Or are you all going to still be living together?
Yes, we are. He hasn't moved
Unless I
out.
unless I order that you can't.
Yes, ma'am.
You all have children together?
No, ma'am. Not as of right now, but I'm supposed to be expecting one.
Supposed to be, or you are?
I'm expecting one. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. So you're presently pregnant?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Any cross-examination for this witness?
Just one question. Who is Tamara Uzi?
I'm sorry.
Who's Tamara Uzi?
Me.
Is your name Tamara Uzi or is it Abriana?
Tamara Uzi.
Do you use the name Ariana McBurrows? Do you use that name as well? Is that an alias?
No.
That's all. Thank you.
Anything, Mr. Pallon?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Uzi, do you recall meeting with investigator Latowski?
Yes.
And that occurred, I show September 5th. Does that sound about right?
I'm not sure. I just remember the policeman.
Would have been just 1 week ago.
I don't know exactly who his name was. I just know that the policeman, he came out and he spoke with me.
Okay. And is it, so on August 29th, you called 911 alleging that the defendant hit you. September 5th, you also told that officer that the defendant hit you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Right.
I just have one quick question. So the prior call, were you also lying to police then, or?
Yes, I was.
Okay,
No,
thank you.
Stay as in charge.
Because I wanted him to leave.
Okay, and are you afraid of him?
No, I'm not afraid of him at all. We just, like I said, we just got in a heated argument and I wanted him to leave the house at the time.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
All right. All right. And you can go ahead and present Ms. Abdon on that case.
Thank you, Your Honor. My client's 23 years old. He was born in Georgia. He's lived here his whole life. He has a lot of family in Georgia as well. He has his GED and a trade school certificate for forklift operating. He currently works at a warehouse. He's an assembly line worker. He's been working there for the past year. It is my understanding from my client that he does want to return home and have contact with his girlfriend and work this out. As you've heard, it sounds like it was a false allegation, and she's corroborated that, and she does not fear him either. Regarding the two theft by shoplifting, I would ask Your Honor to consider lowering the bond. His indigency is a concern, and it is set very high. I do understand the state's concern about reoffense, but that shouldn't increase the value, and his indigency is something that is a concern, and that would mean that would be no bond at all for my client. And so I would ask Your Honor to consider lowering the bond on those two to $500, $250 on each, and a signature bond on the battery, family violence, and to allow for no further violent contact.
Your Honor, I'd like to just point out one thing as a counter. The PD Abden asked the witness if she had lied to police in this matter, and the witness said yes. Then PD Abden asked if the witness lied in the matter where a 911 call was made. Someone was claiming that they were being strangled, and when the officer interviewed interviewed this witness to see if she was the victim, she said no. And when PD Abden asked, "Did you lie in that matter?" she said yes, as in I lied. So I think with the answers given in either matter, there is an instance of violence.
All that goes to show is that she's not a credible witness. It's my understanding her name is Avriana. I'm not really sure what occurred. It sounds like she's not afraid of him. She doesn't seek to proceed, and she's denying any allegation of any violent incident occurring on either one of those dates. So I would ask Your Honor to take that into consideration as well.
Your Honor, that poses additional problems. Either this is the witness and the PD will have to live with the two answers that she received from the witness, or this witness is not the victim, and then we'd have to treat the matter as though we have been unable to contact the victim, in which case we should assume that the victim wants no contact. So either way, this argument does not work well.
Well, I'm wondering if this is the true victim or not, or who this is.
Well, I'm curious why PD thinks this is not the victim other than the Zoom name, because
It is my understanding for my client that his girlfriend's name is Avriana. It appears she goes by a different name as well. That is where my confusion lies. And I understand the concerns. However, this is not the trial. We're just trying to set bond. We'll have an opportunity
Don't worry, this isn't a trial.
Well, it's getting a little bit too much into the facts, in my opinion. And I really would ask Your Honor to take all that into consideration and grant my client a fair bond on these three cases.
Your Honor, if the PD is alleging that this witness is not the victim in this case, then I think it's paramount the court treats it as though the prosecution has been unable to contact this victim, that this victim suffered violence and does not want contact with this defendant.
She just
That's what the PD is
identified
alleging.
herself as the victim. What I'm trying
But you're saying she's not.
Does she have an ID? Do you have an ID?
That's not what I said.
Do you have an ID with you? Miss McBurrows or Miss?
I'm sorry. No, I do not at the time.
You're in a vehicle and you're driving and you don't have an ID?
I'm not driving. I'm sorry.
You're in a vehicle?
Yes.
Are you a passenger?
No, I'm not pulling off either.
I'm sorry?
I said no, and I'm not driving either.
But how did the vehicle get to where it is if you're not driving it or you're not a passenger? Somebody else drove it, left it, and you're just sitting in it?
No, somebody else drove, and I'm sitting at Walmart.
That's what I just asked you. I don't know that I find your testimony credible.
They didn't leave the vehicle, is what I'm saying. The store.
I don't know who you are. You have no ID on you.
No, I do not.
Your Honor, if I may. I understand what everyone is saying. I think the state's position at this point is obviously Your Honor is going to determine a bond that Your Honor feels is fair and reasonable. We are asking in regards to the stay away and the further contact, that there be no further contact in the stay away order, because at this point, apparently no one can make heads or tails of who is who and which person is speaking to us, and if that we're not able to even verify this is the victim at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so at this time, to be on the safe side, I believe that whoever the victim is in our case needs to appear before a court with the proper identification, and then a bond modification can be done at that time. Once we have addressed, we are actually speaking to the right individual.
I agree. Yeah.
Wouldn't object to that either.
Okay. Thank you. So let me do this. Since this is the victim on the third case, we'll go out of order a little bit, not to confuse everyone with this third case. I guess it's case number 1 with Brandon Harris, which is the one ending in the 5462E. Let's just go with this case, which is a simple battery family violence. On this matter, I will grant the $2,000 surety bond. I will order no further contact with the victim, as we know it, Ms. Utsi. A stay away from the incident location or that address. And I guess they cannot live together, obviously. I'm ordering a no further contact between the alleged victim and the defendant, Brandon Harris, in this case. No drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond. So that will clear up the add-on case, correct?
Yes.
And then the other case.
Sorry, excuse me, Judge, can you please repeat your bond again?
I'm sorry, $2,000 surety bond.
And that's for simple battery?
Yes, that's for the simple battery, correct.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And then the next case, which will be number 2 add-on, the theft by shoplifting, Indian 5463E, where the victim in that case is Ms. Shin. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to order the $1,000 surety bond, a stay away from the liquor store, the incident location, and no further contact with the victim, Ms. Shin. All right. And then the third case, which is on the regular calendar, position 3, I'm going to order on that theft by shoplifting, a $1,000 surety bond, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, or guns while on bond for all cases. Stay away from this liquor store incident location, and no further contact with the victim, Mr. Patel. And I'm making sure that I miss anything else, counsel, on any of the 3 cases.
Nothing for the state, Your Honor.
Okay.
Nothing for the defense as well, Your Honor.
All right. That'll do it.
Defense.
Raise
I'm
your hand.
sorry.
I don't understand what's going on. I'm in here on both.
Mr. Harris, I would advise you to exercise your right to remain silent at this. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.